Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Catherine Lorimer's Good Guide to Life podcast. I'm not changing it because you know what, mistakes happen. So how's everyone doing? So what time, where are we? What time is it? Okay, so I'm recording this little bit earlier than I would usually do. So usually I'd probably pop it out on the Friday evening before the Saturday it's going out. But what day is it today? It's the 11th of April. Okay, so we're really, really early. New me, new April is, I've only there's only kind of 2 weeks in really. But I don't have enough time. I'm so busy next week. I'm going to be away at the weekend. So I won't. This is the only chance I've got to actually do this. Usually I'd read back to my podcast for March, New Me, New March. I've just sat down to record that and thought, you haven't listened back to your podcast, but it's already 6:00 in the evening. I've just had tea and I'm just busy washing all the horse stuff that, then I have to give the old washing machine a major clean out after that. It's like drum clean for 2 hours or something stupid like that. So this is the only time I've got to do it. So I've just got to crack on with it and try and remember what we covered last month rather. So first of all, just had a check of the last 7-day figures, 164 downloads, which was absolutely phenomenal. So that's for you guys for listening. Thank you so much. Again, when I first started this, I think there's about 7 people a week listening. So to have those sorts of figures is just absolutely fantastic. And I just hope you get something out of it. Again, appreciative of the fact that we've got about 78 countries listening to this. So I'm going to try and talk really slowly so you can all understand what I'm saying. Hopefully that'll be okay. So I've offloaded Marie Curie, finally. That happened at the end of March. I was just like, I just can't do it. It's just not realistic. I'm struggling to get everything else in, and sometimes, things have to give. And I've done it for 2.5 years. That's probably more than other people would do. So I'm going to tick that box off, and that's that done. So what else have I been doing? Well, we went off. You may have seen a social media video of John, partner, bouncing around on the dance floor. We went off to the Spitting Feathers, which is a local brewery not too far away, to hear a couple of his mates playing a band called the Wavertones, who, as I did say to them, you're in danger of becoming an Oasis cover band. Anyway, there we go. I'm not really a massive Oasis fan either, but the bands are really, really good. So, it was a good night, and we sat down and we met some strangers, and it was a really, really good night. Great night. Really enjoyed that. So I've been doing my swimming, mostly 3 days a week, 3 nights a week, or 3 whenever I can cram it in, to be honest with you. Some weeks it's only been 2 though. I had a bit of a strain on my hamstring. I thought, well, do you know what? This is hurting when I swim, so let's be sensible and not do it for a couple of days. So I did that. That was quite good. So Jane went on holiday. She went off to Spain on a riding holiday, which sounds absolutely fantastic. So if you have a look at that, I don't think actually there won't be any pictures on my Instagram feed, but it's, if you want to go on a Spanish holiday, that's your thing, then she really, really enjoyed it. She had a great time. We rode in the morning. Then we went off and looked at various different things in the afternoon. So that was all really, really good. Can recommend that. What else am I doing? Golf. Okay, so anyone's listened to my golf podcast from a few months ago? Okay, I've signed up for a proper program, Women into Golf. Okay, so it's a 2 monthly thing, and I'm having 3 lessons a week with somebody I know. Actually, this is a small world. This is somebody that I used to work with who does portering. And it's my best friend's brother. Actually, he's the golf pro. It is small world, Chester. And so, it's a massive difference already. So long game shots, and also chipping and putting. Chipping games coming along a treat. I did a cracking shot last time, and 2 attempts to get it out the sand bunker. It wasn't particularly, it was pretty good. And I popped along to the driving range, trying to remember everything, so it's stand with your feet apart for the driving range and weight onto your toes and your arms out a bit and they've got to be straight and you've got to hold the kind of club at a certain angle and your hand in a certain position, which feels like it's kind of like, twisting off it just feels weird. And then you've got to swing your shoulder around and then swing it through and hit it at the bottom. And I had probably about 3 or 4 fantastic shots, which I haven't had before. With the ball, I struck it really, really well, and the ball went quite up in the air rather than me just, whacking it and, so properly up in the air, bouncing onto the green. So well happy with those shots. Really, really pleased with those. And then my chip and putt was quite good. Again, that's completely different. You hold the club a lot lower down. You stand, so your weight's on the left-hand side, and it's a swing, so you're scraping the grass. It's a different movement altogether. So there's so many things that you kind of have to think about before you take each shot. But, I love it, the technical side of things. And I think if you get the technical side right, then it makes a massive difference. So I've been, communicating all this back to John. And I said ages ago that he should probably have some lessons. But, he's, typical man, knows best. But anyway, he's booked himself in for a golf lesson on Monday. When I was kind of going through all the technicalities and what you should do and what, and I think and kind of thought, if I'm going to improve at all, then I need to change, the way that I do certain things and work on certain things. So it's great. He's having some lessons. That's fantastic. We'll see how he gets on with that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And there's some really nice ladies on the actual sessions. And, the great thing is about women kind of all coming together and, we all kind of like encourage each other to do things. And you're like, yeah, that's a fantastic shot. That's really, really great. And, oh, that didn't quite work, but maybe try like that. Because that works for me. And it's, it's really good. And we really kind of encourage each other, even though, a lot of us are strangers and we don't really know each other. But as I say, I have been kind of running around a bit like a headless chicken, trying to cram everything in. Fortunately, John's been great. I've been at his house, so he's supervising Pippa while I'm kind of trying to get work in and then, rushing. I've actually had him up really. So he used to kind of get up about 7. Now he's getting up about 6. Then going for a walk, an hour walk with the dogs before work, which he, and he'll admit himself. He said, I never would have. Before I met you, I never would have got up that early and gone for a walk with the dogs. But he said, I'm starting work and I'm really wide awake and refreshed. So it does, really, really help you. Good news on the scan front, had my MRI scan. I don't have any little tumour in my ear, which is fantastic news. It is, so we'll just have to wait and see what it actually might be. Probably something called Meniere's, but it might not be. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But that's really good news. There's no tumour there. So that was the thing that I was kind of really a bit worried about, but it's all okay. Now, hopefully you've seen my Instagram video, which I shoved up on Saturday, last Saturday. There should be one today as well. Basically, it's the chopstick challenge. Okay. And I want you guys to get involved. Send me a message on Instagram or send me a voice note on Instagram. If you want to, I can shove it on my podcast if you want me to. If you want me to be on, I'll do it this way. If you want to be on the podcast, okay, so I can play a clip via my phone, then send me a voice note, okay? If you don't want to be on the podcast, just send me a text message and give me some ideas about things that I can try and eat with chopsticks. Okay, so yeah, I've got one today. This is it's pretty good. I'm really enjoying doing it. It's good fun. So there's a few more coming up. Go and have a look at that on Instagram. It's just a bit of a fun, kind of, just a bit of a kind of light and hearted type thing. So I've got also, if you've been having a look at my kind of angel painting with all the bits and pieces on it, that's coming along a treat. I actually took it into my art class last week, kind of like I was a bit sort of like sat down with it thinking, oh my God, what are people going to think? You're not really sure. Because you're never really sure, are you? It's the first kind of thing that I've done, and it is more of an illustration. And, I plonked it down and I was waiting for my tutor to go, She went, oh, that's fantastic. I love it. And I went through the story of it all. She said, that's absolutely brilliant. She's great. And her sister's done one very similar to mine, the same sort of idea. She said, right, she said, we're going to have your two on the table as people come in so they can see what the music's all about. And so I've got to now write an A4 laminated sheet about what the painting's about, which is good, So well happy with that. But I am kind of getting along there. And I kind of was not really sure about how to get the kind of the choir in, but we came up with some ideas, and I've kind of painted the choir in on little kind of square bits, and I'm going to glue them in because it's something a bit different. And yeah, so it's coming along. And it was quite good actually to bounce some ideas off someone I was sitting next to and try and get, she's come up with some good ideas about how I can put some like staves, music staves, and little music notes and stuff on the painting. So I've got to try and do that next. So that's on my list of things to do. So I'm pretty, I'm hopeful that it should be finished, okay, by next week, because I want it finished by next week. And then I can type up all the information. I need to clean up I've got two like little display kind of easel things. I need to clean those up because we need to use those for the A4 sheet and also for the painting itself to go on. But it's great. Really happy with it, and I've really loved doing it. And I sent it over to my artist friend as well. And she's like, "That's brilliant." She said, "Where do you come up with all these ideas from?" And she said, because she's an amazing artist. She's way better than I am. And she's done it for years, and she's the person that's I've been sending all this stuff for ages, and she's like, right, I'm getting back into it, and we're arranging a sort of a sketching session at some point in June when the weather's quite nice and we've got a bit more time, a bit more light, and it's less likelihood of being windy and rainy. And she's like, "Where do you get the ideas from?" She said, "That's when I really struggled." She said, "I ended up just copying stuff." And I'm like, "I don't know, I'm really creative, I think, and I just come up with all these ideas with things, because I've done something else as well, which I haven't told anybody about yet, apart from John knows and she knows as well. That's it. Nobody else knows. And I'm going to stick them up. And there's another exhibition coming up. I'm going to have a look when it is. I'll just pause it and find it. So it's going to be at Castle Park in Frodsham, 19th of May to the 27th of June. Okay, and I've submitted 5 paintings for that one, 20 by 20, so they're only tiny. One's one's kind of an abstracty one, and 2 are something else, and then one I'm going to do one I'm going to do a Labrador, and I'm going to do a Border Terrier. So I've done both of those before. I thought it would be just really, really interesting to see what sells, but I'm really excited about the idea and the concept I've got behind the other kind of 2 paintings, because they're a bit of fun. So I'll shove those up on my Instagram page when the actual exhibition starts, I think. I'm going to cram it all in. So I've got to get everything finished. So the Aaron Copeland thing, the Angel one, is going to be the 25th of April. I shoved that on my Instagram page. You may have seen I've tagged in Cheshire Life. That's because my art teacher's like, "Oh, I've written to Cheshire Life, because it's this fantastic." And I was like, "Oh my God." But no, I thought, right, okay, well, we'll tag in, Cheshire Life. Whether or not they actually put it in, I don't know, but I thought, well, you know what, if you don't ask, you don't get, do you? So we'll give that a go. So yeah, so there's tickets available, and it should be a really good evening. It should be excellent, and there's some really fantastic pieces of artwork, and you can buy them. They're all available for sale on the night. I have no idea how much to charge for this thing here. No clue. I haven't got a clue whatsoever. But we'll see. Actually, I've got an idea of a price in mind, because I don't actually want to sell it. I think I probably want to keep it, to be fair. It'll kind of brighten up my house quite nice. I've got really big walls, although live in a little tiny terrace house. I've got massive, really tall walls. So there's loads of space for stuff like that, and I quite like this one. So I may overprice it in the hope that it doesn't sell. Okay, so other big news as well. You may have seen a few rants on social media about it. I've had issues with people driving. Well, first of all, I can't hear properly. I'm struggling. I'm really, really struggling when it's windy to tell what direction a car's coming in. And I had like 3 incidents one weekend. One person, I'm trying to think what happened. One person, that's right. It wasn't really a thing, but I was trotting up a hill on the road, and an electric Mini came past, driving quite fast, to be fair. And I didn't hear it, and fortunately the pony was okay, but he was going a bit too fast. And ordinarily I would have sort of waved my arm to say, "Actually, can you slow down a bit, mate? You're supposed to slow down to 10 miles an hour, not sort of 25. That's a bit too fast. And you're nowhere near 2 meters. It's probably about 1.5 meters." That was one, which is, and that in itself, I could live with that. It wouldn't be that bad. Then I was hanging out with my friend, and we were overtaking a car, and there was another car that saw us coming, and he pulled over to the side and waited, which was really, really considerate of him. However, just as we were overtaking the car, and we were riding 2 abreast as well, then this female driver, I have to say it was a woman, sorry, I did look, And she just came careering around, overtook the guy, and razzed past us, probably doing about 25. And probably if there was a meter to spare. And so, fortunately, both horses were really, really well behaved. And we went up to the driver who had stopped, and he just said, you need to be wearing body cameras to capture driving like that. So when you've got like other motorists sort of saying things to you. And then I had a really scary incident where I was, it's a 20 limit where I was riding, but it was quite windy. So when it's windy, horses get really, really spooky. As if you think about horses, they are flight animals. And if a wheelie bin is on a pavement where it normally isn't, then to them it could be like, a sort of scary tiger about to eat them. So he kind of spooked into the middle of the road at this wheelie bin, and that's a normal reaction. A lot of horses would do that, even the safest ones. And this guy came around the corner at 30 miles an hour on the wrong side of the road, on my side of the road anyway. And it was a pretty near miss. And I actually shouted at him, which I don't tend to do. I'm usually quite chilled. And shouted at him, slow down. And he actually swore at me. I won't say what he saw. I won't say what he saw, what he swore, what he actually said. But I just thought that's not really necessary, is it? You're the one that's kind of come around the corner and nearly careered into us. And I couldn't hear him coming because it was windy. And I think that really scared me a little bit. And then hacking out with Jane. Jane was riding Larry, who is a baby pony, okay? About 2 minutes beforehand, he'd been bananaing. So that's kind of when they bend their neck and not walking in a straight line and messing about. So this car came, again, this was a 30 limit. So this car came flying towards us and I thought, whoa, he's going way too fast, way above the speed limit. So in a white van. So I waved my arm to signal to slow down, which I'm entitled to do. At the end of the day, if a rider is telling you to slow down, that's usually because they know there's a potential issue, which you won't know about. And this one being we had a baby pony, with us who is messing about quite badly. And, they're really unpredictable. And he can kind of, horses can jump over a meter wide from standstill. They don't even have to be going at any speed and they can do stupid things and they are unpredictable. Especially when they're kind of youngsters and they're training. So this is a youngster. And he, honestly, so he actually gave me the bird. And I was like, as in I posted a picture of Tom Cruise, from Top Gun, one of my favourite films, giving the MiG the bird. I was just like, what is going on? What is your problem? I'm asking you to slow down. I wasn't being unreasonable, because we saw loads of cars out and everyone passed us like at 20 or sometimes 20. And, that's kind of okay. We cope with the 20 miles an hour. And some do it properly at 10, as long as they give us a distance. And a lot of drivers are really, really courteous. I have to be honest with you. So there was just this one idiot and he was going way, way too fast anyway. He was certainly doing, it was probably about 35, maybe even faster than that. But I'm just like, not necessary, just slow down. It takes you 30 seconds to go past us. Even if you slowed down to 20, that would have been a bit more helpful and a bit safer. Because what happens if you slow down to 10 or 20, it stops the horse from spooking, especially if you have a noisy car. Okay, electric cars, I can't hear them, but actually they don't really scare the horse. But if you have a really noisy car, that scares the horse. And what can happen is they can do something really stupid. So it gives us reaction times. So because what happens is when you're on a horse, you can feel, on the whole, there are some horses I've ridden that actually you have no awareness that they're out to do something. So for example, I had a massive cob called Dominic and he was 14.2, built like a tank. And actually somebody nearly took us out on a road once. He was really unpredictable on the roads and he spooked when I was leading him actually. And his arse turned into the road and this guy careered past us round the corner at 60 miles an hour. And honestly, he must have missed him by about 15 centimetres. And that really put me riding off the roads in Scotland because they were a lot faster than they are in England. So they can be really unpredictable. But this same cob, Dominic, what he did was, you'd be riding him in the arena. He'd be going really nicely, nice collected trot. Okay, you'd be heading up to the top of the end of the arena. All of a sudden, you'd find yourself cantering towards the gate. Okay, he turned and spun on a sixpence, is what they call it. It's, so basically just like pirouetted round, shum, before you had even any time to react. And with that horse, there was no warning whatsoever that was about to happen. This is how unpredictable these creatures are. And he was about 600 kilograms. Okay, he was a really, really big, powerful horse. I mean, he used to barge his way up the stable. And literally, he'd be like, wham, he'd take you out, no question. He wouldn't, he's in a fight, basically, he'd wade in first and ask questions afterwards. And you wouldn't want to argue with him because there's only going to be one winner against a 600 kilogram horse. Okay. It's not going to be the person because he really was solid. And this is what horses can do. I mean, but with Merlin, he's a little bit less unpredictable like that. But you can feel the tension. They'll tense up and they're about to do something. And so if you go past us at a decent speed and we feel they're about to do something, then we can do something about it, okay? We can do like a bend in flexion towards the car. So basically that means that if they make a movement, it's difficult for them to go against. The flexion is when you bend their head slightly. And it's difficult then for a horse to bend into the flexion. They'll more likely go towards the pavement because you've bent them that way. So there's lots of little kind of things that we can do to stop them doing something, but we need a bit of warning, okay? Otherwise, and it's getting worse. So consequently, I'm moving yards, okay? I'm moving yards where there is access to a lot more off-road riding, which is going to be great for me, because I don't have to worry about all the car noises. It's a bit sad because it's going to be a complete change. I'm saying goodbye to old friends at the yard, but I'm finding that there's no one really to hack out with. It's quite often just me on my own. Obviously, I'm going to miss hacking out with Jane. I won't see anywhere near as much as her because it's quite a long way for her to come. But you know what? If you're not happy with something in your life, or if I'm not happy with something in my life and I feel it's not working and it's not right for me at that particular moment in time, then I've always had the ability to change it, okay? I decide what isn't quite right because life's too short, and that bit isn't quite right, so I'm changing that bit. Now, it's been a diplomatic negotiation to leave the yard, if I'm honest. Most people just go, A, get kicked off, or B, say, right, I'm leaving. But I've had to, negotiate to leave the yard because people don't want me to leave, which is really, really flattering in itself. Quite stressful, if I'm honest. So I've had to negotiate with Fiona and Jane about me leaving the yard. Neither of them want me to go, which is really flattering. And they love Merlin as well. So again, really, really flattering. But it's the right thing for us to do at this particular moment in time. And that's as far as I can say at the moment. And I think I actually quite like the flexibility of being able to move. There's nothing to say that in a couple of years I might decide to move somewhere else. And I think, but a change is as good as a rest. And being at the yard, Fiona's yard, and having all the people hacking out with, well, Merlin's become an absolutely fantastic pony. He's gone from a pony that was napping and rearing. At one point, I could only get him to go backwards, so I would reverse him along the roads, to a pony that we can take on farm rides. Jane and Fiona have both taken him on a farm ride, ridden him on a farm ride. And he's been absolute legend. He really, really has. And now he's great. And so I'm at the stage where I can now just go out and do things with him. And I think hacking around a housing estate is now no longer enough for me. I want something more than that. So it's actually good in a way that we've kind of progressed. And I think as well, I'll be able to school him and I'll make new friends as well, which I'm really looking forward to. Making new friends is fab. I've already had 2 people from the current yard say, right, we'll come over and ride with you. One's Merlin's field buddy. And she's like, right, so as soon as I've got my pony up and running, because she's backing him now, we'll come over. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I will babysit you around the farm ride. That's great. No problem whatsoever. And it's great to have a horse again that I can do that with, because I've been babysitting my friend on her pony. And I've always had the horse that's sensible and well behaved and well schooled. and will just do as he's told. And it's great to be in that position again, to have that pony that is just awesome, because he is absolutely awesome. So I'm looking forward to doing it. It's going to be a bit of a change, but that's kind of coming, and it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be a bit different. It's also probably going to take up a little bit more of my time, because I haven't got Jane now helping me, but that's fine. That's okay. I can live with that. I'm going to have to make compromises. I've explained to my partner, John, I said, listen, if we go off to the caravan, I'm going to have to take my car with me so I can go back. It's a bit closer to the caravan, go back and do him. He doesn't know I'm going to be disappearing for probably about 3 or 4 hours, because I'll be razzing around doing stuff. I'm like, yeah, it won't be long, it'll be about an hour or so, and it'll be about 4 hours later. Anyway, he can go and walk the dogs. He'll get used to it. It'll be fine. He goes up, but that is the great thing, okay, about being in a relationship with somebody who likes their own space as well, and who likes to go and do things on their own. And he goes off and he does all his golf stuff, and he's off, going to concerts, meeting friends for drinks, going off with his daughter to concerts, and he goes and does all of these things on his own, and he likes that space, and I like that space, and it's great. I mean, I'll go and stay at his, and like one morning I kind of did a bit, and then I left the house at, I think was it Sunday, I left the house at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, no, it must have been a Monday or a Tuesday, I can't remember. Yeah, it must have been a Tuesday. I left the house at 9 o'clock his house at 9 o'clock in the morning, and didn't return until 9 o'clock at night, whereby he'd cooked me a really nice meal because I was starving. I mean, what a legend. I know, I'm so lucky that I've got all these people in my life really helping me out, because even mum today, I'm there building my own wheelbarrow, because I've been using Jane's wheelbarrow, so I thought, right, I'm going to get my own wheelbarrow. I'm going purple. Used to like pink, but we're going purple now. And so I've ordered this purple wheelbarrow, and it arrived in a box, and Dad reluctantly put it in the garage, taking up space. So anyway, I thought, right, I better build it. So I put it all together, and it's quite funny because Mum's like, she's dispatched Dad out. She'll have gone in, Catherine needs a hand building the wheelbarrow. And he came out, and I was like, what are you doing out here? Oh, Mum said you need some tools. So I'm like, well, they're all on the bench. I can just find them. That's why I'm building it in your garage. I don't need you. Go on, back in. Off you go. I don't need your help. I can do it on my own. Thank you very much. Perfectly capable of building a wheelbarrow. No instructions either with it. But logically, I kind of there was like 5 bolts of one size and 2 of another. And then the wheel kind of bit went on. And so that was quite good. I'm just thinking, actually, did I tighten up the wheel properly? Ooh, do you know what? I'm not sure I did, actually. Do you know what? I'm going to have to check that. I don't think I tightened the wheel up properly. Right, I'm going to have to, because that might come off. Right, so I need to check that tomorrow. I did everything else, but I'm not sure I tightened the wheel. Maybe I did. I can't remember. I'll recheck it anyway. It's fine. So I was great building this wheelbarrow. I enjoyed that. And I've also ordered Merlin has to have a hay soaked, because things work one way at a yard. Okay, then you move to a different yard and they work a different way. And the hay soaking area is quite a long way from his stable, and I thought, I don't really want to be kind of like lifting up soaking wet hay bales and trudging them through and doing this and that, and it's not good for my back. And I've got thinking, if I'm going to be doing everything 7 days a week now, then that's a bit of a change. So I kind of need to think about how to adapt it. And then there was a girl there who's got this thing called a hay box, and basically you shove the hay in, shove the water in, put the stopper in, and actually, I'm just kind of thinking now, did it have all the bits with it? Because I can't remember if I saw another bit. But anyway, it's fine. I haven't unpacked it properly from the box yet. And you basically put the water in, and then you, leave it to soak for about half an hour, and then take the stopper out. Okay, and then you feed the horse. It's like a hay feeder as well. It's a great little gadget, and it was fairly expensive. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to fork out for one of those, because at the end of the day, I've learnt the hard way, you can't put a price on your health, okay? That's one of the things, as long as you're healthy and feeling okay, that's actually the main thing that's important. So talking of which, back on blood pressure tablets, which I'm a bit annoyed about, mainly because I haven't been able to run and because I put on so much weight. However, that said, I'm now managed to lose 2.4 kilograms. So really, really pleased with that. So consistently, over about 3 weeks now has that been. Really, really happy with that. So progressed to that. So I've got to that level. So now I'm going to need 2 more. hopefully by the time I go on holiday. So I can I'm thinking, right, that'll be particularly great. And then I'll go on holiday and I'll tone up and hopefully lose a little bit more. And it's a bit of a kind of like a process. So, and I've got I'm just trying to have a look other things that I've got coming up that I won't cover because obviously, we'll forget about April and I haven't covered these. I'm off to the theatre again on my own. I keep doing that and it's pretty good. So I'm kind of doing that, and then we're going on another walk, and I've got loads of stuff, and then I'm off on holiday at the beginning of May. So I need to try and record a kind of podcast then. So I've kind of got lots going on, really, lots going on, and it's all very exciting, and it's all great. So that's all about my life and how I so hopefully you can kind of see what I do. And when I'm not happy with things and they're not working, I don't just stay and moan about them. Because I find that really frustrating, especially you've got the moan going, oh, I'm not very happy because I'm thinking, well, don't just moan about it. Actually do something about it. Change your life. If you're not happy with it, change it, change what's wrong with it. Change the things that you're not happy about. Identify which bits are making you unhappy and then change it. Because, you only live once and you can't buy happiness. So that's me. That's me for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Okay. Have a great week, everybody. Again, amazing listening figures. I am really quite stunned, actually. Thank you so much. Have a great week, and I'll catch you next time.